Hey guys, this is Mrs. Gaither. So I'm trying something new, so we'll see how this goes. We're going to skip the rounding at the top and we're just going to go straight to writing decimals as fractions. So on Tuesday, we talked about rational and irrational numbers. And there were two types of decimals that were rational numbers. There were terminating decimals and then there were repeating decimals. Terminating decimals are decimals that you have already seen and you should know how to make these into into decimals, okay? And excuse me, let's take that back, into fractions. So what we have here is we're going to look here and we're going to look at these four numbers and we're going to create and put them into what is into fractions so that we know that they are a fraction, they are a ratio. So when we look at a fraction, we have to figure out what is our denominator going to be. So we need to look and see where we're at for our power of 10. What are we going to multiply everything by the place setting? Right here, the 5 is in the thousandths place. So automatically, that is our denominator. Okay, so then we take this amount here where we have the 825, and that becomes our numerator. So yes, that is a fraction, that's a ratio, but we need to know what we really need to know is this simplified? Well, it's not, and so we have to figure out, okay, what is it actually simplified by? What is the greatest common factor? So when we look at here, so we have a 25. So when I'm thinking about quarters and dollars, I'm thinking it's probably going to be something along the lines of 25. So I'm going to try 25 first to see if I can make this smaller, saying that my greatest common factor is 25. Okay, so I can do my long division. I can figure out how much it goes into, but for time's sake, we're gonna look here and we say 825 over 1,000. So 825 divided by 25 is 33. And then when we go on the other side, when we simplify the base, it's 40. Now, because I have an odd and I have a 0, I cannot simplify this anymore. So we're done right here. For point 3, a little bit easier, what place are we in? We are in the tenths place, right here. So my numerator is 3, and my denominator is 10. I can't do anything else with this. This is absolutely done. Now, what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to go ahead and try to do the next one. Thinking about what is the place setting of the last number. Yes, this is the hundredths place. So here's hundredths. So we have 100, and then we're going to just take and put the 78 on top. Well, what is going to be my greatest common factor? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try 2. So first I'm just going to do the numerator, because I already know if I do a greatest common factor of 2, I know I'm going to get a 50. Here we want to say, okay, so 78 divided by 2. 2 goes into 7 3 times, which gives me 6. 1, bring down the 8. 2 goes into 18 9 times. So there is my numerator. So my numerator is 39. and then I can't simplify it anymore. Finally, we have, again, we're back into the thousands place. So my denominator is 1,000. And if at any time I call the denominator a numerator, I am so sorry. The denominator is 1,000, and then I'm going to bring over the 375. Now, in my mind, I'm going, oh crud, what is this going to be? So let's try 25 again. So as our greatest common factor. So 25, how many times can it go into 375? Because you may not be able to use a calculator. So 25 goes into 37 one time. Okay. So we have 25, 7 minus 5 is 2, 1, 12. We're going to bring this down, 5. We haven't started cubes, but 5, but how many quarters are in $1.25? So let's think about that. How many quarters? Well, there's 5 quarters in $1.25. So that gives me 125. That's 0. So now I have, and then 1,000 divided by 25. So let's say $10. So 1,000, and we already did it above. So by using 25, we now have 15 over 40. But is this in simplest form? Well, no, it's not. I can still divide both of these by 5. Which equals 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 40 divided by 5 is 8. So our real greatest common factor would be 5 times 25. So our greatest common factor would be 25 times 5. Okay? Okay. So which is 125. That's the real greatest common factor. I want you to take a second, pause the video, and I would like for you to write the steps down. They're not on your page, but I found these and typed these up since I've done this, and I want you to be able to have these steps as we do these. Okay. So step 1 says to write an equation. So we have, this is called a repeating decimal. So we have, when we write this, we have 0.5. This right here is called an overbar. Okay. And we can write this also as, we can expand it. So we have 0.555. And I'm just going to go, and I'm going to put, they're called ellipses. Ellipsis. I think I spelled that right. So this is the decimal that we're going to put x to equal. So x equals 0.555. And we could continue and go even farther, but that's okay. We don't have to. The second step is to multiply each side of the equation by 10, the power of 10, 10 to the power of d. D is the number of digits that repeat. So this is only in the tenths place, so we only have to multiply both sides by 10. Okay? So now we have 10x equals, well, when I multiply by 10, that decimal place moves over one spot. So we have 5.55. And I'm going to add another 5 just for when we have to subtract them. Okay. Then step 3. So this was step 2. Step 1. Step 3 tells us to subtract the equation you wrote in step 1. Okay, so we have to subtract this equation. So we have x minus, we're going to put minus 0.555 5, 5, 5. We have our ellipse. Okay, so all of the 5s to the right of the decimal become 0, so they go away. So that's 0, 0, 0. So they go away. And now I have 5. Okay, and then on the left side, 10 minus, remember that this is 1x. I have 9x. And then I have to solve for the variable. Divide by 9, divide by 9. So x equals 5 ninths. Okay? So I would like for you to try this with 0.3 repeating, which equals, and I'm going to put it as it's expanded, 0.333. So go ahead and pause the video, and I'd like for you to solve that repeating decimal. Okay, so you have paused the video, and so remember we're going to set this first one to x equals. It's only one place, so we're going to multiply everything by 10. So we have 10x equals, we're going to move that decimal over, 3.333. And then we're going to subtract by x, 0.333. Everything to the right goes away. I end up with 9x equals 3. So we're going to solve for the variable, divide by 9, divide by 9. So x equals 3 ninths. Well, can I simplify it? What is its greatest common factor? Well, its greatest common factor is 3. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And I have 1/3. And that is what x equals. Next, I want to go ahead and turn the page. We're going to talk about repeating decimals with 2-digit numbers. Okay, so in our first one, we had 0.5 repeating, and that was, we had it in the 10ths place. Well, the final number here is in the hundredths. So we have to take that into account as we do this. So just like we did on the first one, I'm going to go ahead and expand this, and we're going to set it to x. We're going to take the over bar away and put the ellipse. So we have x equals 0.1818, and I'm just going to give it one more for just so we really know. Okay? We take this and we're going to multiply this by, we're in the hundredths place, so we're going to multiply everything by 100. So now we have 100x equals, we're going to, if I multiply by 100, just like when you did percents, we have to move the decimal 2 places because it's the power of 10. So the power of, we're going to move it 2 places, which is 100. So that gives me 18.1818, and I'll add the other 2 there. And then we're going to subtract again by the original, the first equation, x minus 0.181818. So you notice again, they're all lined up properly, and everything to the right of the decimal goes away. So now I have 18 on the right, 100x minus, how many x's? 1x, and we have 99x. So solve for x, divide by 99, divide by 99. Okay, go ahead and simplify. So x equals 18 over 99. Can I simplify this? What is my greatest common factor? Well, my greatest common factor is 9. Can't divide 18 into it. So we're going to divide both sides by 9, both sides by 9. 18 divided by is 2, and 11. So there is our solution. So we can rewrite this and say 0.18 repeating equals 2 11ths. So go ahead, and I want you to do number 2 on your own. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and skip on and go to the next one. And you can check with check to see, find out the answer after you've checked with your neighbor to see if you've done it properly together. Okay, so what do we notice here?